Hey friends, Lucian here with the Bullish Bears team. Wanted to make this video on RSI, otherwise known as Relative Strength Index. Very popular indicator for traders, regardless of time frame. It really highlights overbought and oversold levels. Now, like with any indicator, if you've been following us for any length of time, don't put too much emphasis on indicators. The most important line of defense when trading is still number one, candlesticks, which is the instant price action. So when you see these candlesticks on a chart, it's showing you what's happening in that particular instance, depending on whatever time frame, right? This is a daily chart. Then you can switch it to a 5-minute or to a 1-minute chart. Candlesticks are instant, right? They're showing you exactly what's happening in that moment. Indicators like moving average lines, MACD, other indicators are lagging. That means there's a delay, which doesn't mean don't pay attention, don't be aware of them. It just means don't put as much weight as you would see with price action or candlesticks. Now, before I show you the indicator, I want to talk to you about the concept of RSI and what it means, or just in general with trading in candlesticks. Now, with anything with any type of stock or when trading, what goes up at some point is going to want to come back down. Doesn't mean it's going to crash, doesn't mean it's going to mean a dump. It just means at some point a stock wants to come back to equilibrium. And it's not just going to go up forever, and it's not going to just go down forever, unless it's maybe a terrible or garbage penny stock. Then some of those might go down forever. So, when thinking about penny stocks, it might not be the same rule, but actually what goes up typically with penny stocks at some point is definitely going to come back down, but just doesn't always mean when it gets oversold that it's going to go back up with penny stocks. But with your typical stocks, your major ones, Apple, Google, Netflix, big name companies, at some point they're going to want to come back to equilibrium levels. Now it's a matter of when and what chart time frame and what type of trader you are, right? So RSI, it's an indicator used on all different time frames. But even if you didn't use RSI, you can look at candlesticks and realize, if you have moving average lines, the further the way that candlesticks get away from these moving average lines, it's going to naturally want to come back down to these moving average lines. Then it's a matter of what's going to happen from there. This is support, right? So you can see these candlesticks right here. This is the SPY, right? So we're looking at the SPY price right here. It's far, let me zoom in a little bit. It's far away from this moving average lines, right? So now it's going to want to come back down. It's hitting support. And what did it do? Boom, it started to tank. Doesn't mean it's going to tank like this, but remember, this has been moving up, right? Traders are going to want to take their profit. So that's why we try to tell people what goes up at some point is going to want to come back down, because traders just in general are going to want to take profit, right? So would we love a stock to just go up forever? For sure. But at some point you want to make money on what you're trading. And same thing when a stock sells off, typically, people want to get a deal, right? So if Apple or Netflix or Google or Facebook or any of those companies start to fall down and hit a support level, buyers are going to typically, depending on the chart and the setup, want to come back in and buy lower, right? Buy at support levels to push price back up. So you'll see up here, the bears came in here on the SPY and pushed price down. And you'll see down here, this black line, this 200 SMA, here's where the bulls came back and said, we're going to try to push this thing back up. So they're buying lower at a support level, trying to push price back up. Whereas the bears up here are saying, hey, we're going to push this price down and try to push it below these support levels. Again, the tug of war between the bulls and the bears. Candlesticks, again, most important. They tell you, very important, stories with patterns. You can see this right here is a head, left shoulder, right shoulder. This is a head and shoulders pattern. This pattern warned you right here before this all happened. In fact, this one right here, this bearish harami, this 2 candlestick pattern warned you before even this head and shoulders happened. So this is why candlesticks are incredibly important to be aware of. You could have been aware of this bearish harami and this head and shoulders before it failed. So I'm showing you this because I'm showing this before I show you RSI, that you can see this stuff happen, before something takes place. And you can see right here, RSI right here, this indicator on my chart, you'll see I have it, I put it more vibrant colors, and it's hard to see. I got to hover over it for you to see it here, but because I have it as a blue line, but you'll see here, this has been overextended, this black line. When it gets over 70, you'll see this red area that I put up here. It's showing overbought, but see, it was overbought for way back here, right? So when it shows overextended, at some point it's going to want to pull back. But look, while it was overextended, this thing still went up. So even though it was warning you it was overextended, doesn't mean it's going to pull back yet. And you'll see it had a good run when it was overextended, and then it dumped back down. So this is where I want to say, don't put too much weight or emphasis, because at some point it's going to want to gravitate back, but it can go for a run. It can go for, it could stay overextended for a while, just like a stock could be oversold for a while. But it's, again, an indicator very popular to be aware of. This is a daily chart. You can zoom into other time frames, like let's say the 5-minute. And day traders, they're aware of it. Again, this is kind of trading. This is the SPY. Let me go to a stock today. Let's take a look at FTK. You can see pre-market right up here. You will see it was a bit overextended right here. See, very overextended, big green candlestick up here. This is a warning. Hey, overextended. Want to pull back to the moving average lines, and at some point it does, right? Then it went back up. Hey, overextended, gonna want to pull back, comes back down, right? And then it forms these patterns. So again, with RSI, it is a lagging indicator. It's one to, again, be aware of. Don't put too much emphasis on it. It's kind of like a warning, a heads up, be aware, price is overextended, or, when a stock is selling off. Let me go back to the SPY, SPY. I'll show you the oversold levels as well. So we showed overbought, but then you can see again right over in these areas here. See down here where it's below 30, this is where it's oversold, and you'll see the bulls came back in and they're trying to push it back up. Again, rubber band wants to go back up to these moving average lines. Oversold, buyers and the bulls want to push it back up. When a stock gets overbought, again, these levels right in here, you can see overbought. People are going to take profit. Bears are going to try to push it back to these moving average lines. So the 70 level is very important to be aware of when price gets above that area for overbought. Be aware that traders are going to try to take their profits. Bears are going to try to come back in and push price down. And these oversold levels are where the bulls are going to want to come back in. You'll see here, and try to push price back up to these moving average lines. And then again, you'll see these moving average lines, support and resistance, just like candlesticks. So again, hopefully this video helped you on RSI. If you have any more questions, need more help, our website is a really great resource, lots of free resources. Also make sure to take our courses. We have day trading, swing trading, options course, and candlestick courses on our website. So hopefully this video helped you, and we will see you in our community. Enjoy.